Part two. Shabbat shalom, everyone.
Shabbat
Shabbat
shalom.
shalom. We at it again. At it again. All we know how to do is what we do. We don't know how to do nothing else. May the Most High be praised from everlasting to everlasting. For He is our King. All right. Let's get this, family. Let's make it happen. Let's make it happen.
Shalom.
I'm sorry. Did you want to say something, Ma? All right. We're going to start this portion off with the commandments. If anyone has a commandment to say, you can say it at this time. And if it's the Most High's will, you can elaborate on it a little bit, talk about it. And if it's the Most High's will, it'll be correct, it'll be exact, and you will help someone else to learn something. All right. So let's see what's next. So we can start with the family in the room. Would anybody like to give us a commandment? Either of you two?
One second.
All right, since any of you got a commandment, I'll get a commandment. I'll say one. Thou shalt not murder. Thou shalt not steal. Thou shalt not commit adultery. Thou shalt not bear false witness against thy neighbor. You know what? This is a good one. Here's a good one. Thou shalt not move any boundaries to thy line. And thou shalt not have false weights and measures.
Mm-hmm.
Those are very two good commandments. And people today, a lot of people today don't follow those commandments. When we got our land surveyed, a portion of the land, like 14, 15 feet of it, was swallowed up from the other people on the other side. They moved the gate 14, 15 feet onto our property along the distance so that they can absorb some of our territory. But we took care of that. All right. What's that, Brother Yosef? What's that? I was about to blame YouTube. Had to check permissions and YouTube's can't send notifications. Okay, I don't know what I don't know what he's talking about.
Could have been something in his settings. Sometimes.
Oh yeah, I got that part.
Mm-hmm.
But what's about you can't send notifications? I don't understand. All
So
right.
he probably had to check his settings. Sometimes I've had people tell me when they first log in, they can't comment. But sometimes it's your settings.
Really? Oh, thank you for that information. I didn't know that.
Mm-hmm. No problem.
Yeah, I didn't know that was a thing back, with YouTube. I didn't know we had that issue. But we're going to get started with the commandments. I went first, and I a commandment for everyone.
Mm-hmm. I have one.
Okay, yeah, go ahead.
My commandment can be found in Leviticus, Vayikra, chapter 19, verse 16. And it reads, "Thou shalt not go up and down as a talebearer amongst thy people, and neither shall thy stand against the blood of thy neighbor. I am the Most High."
I am the Most High. That's what I'm talking about.
Mm-hmm.
Neither should I stand against the blood of thy neighbor. Could you explain those commandments to us, please?
King. Well, the first part, it says, "Thou shalt not go up and down as a talebearer among thy people." So, of course, that just means going to and fro, calling up people, basically, because that's what we do now. Call up people or text each other, talking about someone, gossiping, basically. Not, you can call up, like if I called somebody and said, "Hey, I want to tell you this great thing," something like that. That's something different about somebody. But gossiping, repeating something that you heard that you don't know if it's true, even if you found out something's true, but if it's nothing positive, if we're not finding a solution to help the person, talking about it is gossiping. You're basically spreading more rumors or spreading something that is not good about someone.
Mm.
If I do say, if a person is being wicked or evil, and you're notifying people in your circle about it, the truth of it, that's one thing. And when you're talking about the positive, that's another thing. So, but yeah, so that's what I take from the talebearing. And then it says, neither shalt thou stand against the blood of thy neighbor. What I take that as, I kind of, it's all tied together, because the blood of thy neighbor could be the shame, the hurt, the sadness from someone talebearing on them or gossiping about them, or if someone is hurt badly because of something. I mean, I'm just because the two are together, I think it's all tying in some way. So basically, like, if I'm gossiping about you, and that causes someone to bring shame upon you, to me, that's a form of, I guess, in some ways, it could be a form of like taking someone's dignity, integrity, their life, because you can cause people to hate someone else by gossiping. You can cause someone to actually harm another person with gossip that's spread. So I think it's just basically saying, don't stand idly by and not help your neighbor if they're hurt or bad, and don't be the reason why by being a talebearer. So, safe one.
I forgot to enlarge your screen during that presentation, so please forgive me. But you could have did it yourself too. You got fingers. You can do it. So please forgive me. But you're right. A lot of times the power of the tongue is very, very strong. Sometimes it's stronger than the pen. It's extremely strong. The power of the tongue can influence nations to go in a negative or a positive direction.
Mm-hmm.
Hmm. And
Yeah,
someone's reputation could be ruined by the gossip. That's right.
that's true.
All right.
Yeah, I know a lot of situations that has happened, and it's a sad thing, because it can cause a nation, a whole community, a whole family to be distraught and disheveled, because of gossip. Gossip is, like you said, the power of a tongue. The power of the tongue is uh, it's a lethal weapon in some ways, you know. And I think you can take someone to court for it, obviously. So legally, it can be said that it is a lethal weapon.
Defamation
So
of
that's
character.
why, yeah, defamation of character. So that's why you have to be very mindful of what you say, how you say, who you say it to, where you say it, because it can be used against you. And they tell you that, in a court of law, what you say. So what, more Denani just said, the reputation of a person can be ruined, because even, we talk about this often, even once you put that out there, and it's found out that the person lied on the other person, it's so much harder to take all that back than to, repair the person's reputation. It's easier to destroy a reputation than to repair what you destroyed, because that one gossip has hit a million ears, but the truth about that person will only go to 5 people,
If that.
if that. So,
Yeah.
it's
People are not ready to spread the positive.
nope.
They will spread the negative and run it around, but very few will actually spread the positive about an individual.
And just something else, when you do spread the positive, someone always has
A
you
but.
keep doing it. Yeah, they always have a but, or, well, did you know he used to do this, or she used to be that? And it's like, well, did that person change? Have they repeated that, or have they changed? And if they haven't changed, you can understand why you're cautioning someone. But if that person has changed and you've witnessed the change and the growth, then why bring up something that the other person wouldn't even know about if you didn't say it. It's like you're trying to taint the greatness of someone else. And a lot of times you spoke about it in our first lesson, our first class today. It's about jealousy and our people hating on each other. It's like we rather see another person down than actually lift up one another. And it's sad, but that's truly the reality of the majority of this of the nation of Israel. And that's why we have so many separate camps and communities and things of that nature, because of that characteristic in us.
This is true. But you know what I've noticed, what I've learned in my
30
years of
30.
I'm only 39 3/4, but 30 years of walking. This is the real side right here. 30 years of walking. Might be 30 years plus by now. I don't even know. What's that? 95, I think it was. 1995, something like that. Anyway.
31 years.
Is it 31? Okay, thank you very much. So that means I had to get here when I was about 8, 9. But what I've learned in my 30-something years of living this life, this conscious lifestyle, was that a lot of that be people jealous and envious of what you've accomplished and what you've achieved that they're not achieving, that they haven't been able to accomplish. And it could be the simplest of things sometimes. It could be the simplest of things, but they will take that opportunity to gossip, to spread rumors, and to spread what they believe about you that they know is not true. But they know it's not true, but they believe it. How could that be, Prince? Because people convince themselves of a reality that's false. They convince themselves. So let's move on. Very good commandment. Very good commandment. So everyone in the listening audience, what you should be doing is you should be typing in your commandment for today. We all have to type in our commandments for today. The imagination of man's heart or man's mind is evil from his youth. These are the words of the Almighty. We're going to get into that today. Read on, please. Read on, please. Let's move forward, please. Anybody else got a commandment? Did anybody post any commandments on the side?
Not yet.
Okay.
Okay, I can go ahead. I'm sorry. I can go ahead and do mine and get mine out of the way. Let's see, Prince, you're already in the flow. You're talking about somebody. Go ahead and read. You're already ready to start teaching.
Sure, get moving.
But that's a great thing, though. My commandment is from Devarim of Deuteronomy 25:4. Muzzle not the ox that treadeth out the corn. Now, a lot of people may say, well, that I don't have any oxen, and neither am I grinding corn. But there is a practical application from this commandment because our people were primarily an agrarian society. The ox was yoked to the grinding mill so that the corn could be ground and we can get corn flour, cornmeal, and so forth from it. But as the process of the grinding would take place, some of the corn would come from under the grindstone. And if you muzzle the ox cannot bow down or lower its head to feed on some of the corn. And so the purpose of not muzzling the ox is so that as the ox is working for you, the ox is still able to get, regardless of how meager amount it is, some of the corn that falls so they can eat of that and partake of it and gain their strength to continue to work. So in today's society, what that would mean is that muzzle not the ox that treads out the corn. In other words, if there's someone who is working for you, serving you, laboring for you in any way, shape, or form, whether it's in the form of a secular work, construction, or serving, even whether it's in ministry, teaching, and so forth, don't withhold from that person that is laboring that which can sustain them. And in today's society, it would be finances. And for those that want to go the route, yes, food is also a source. Clothing is also a source. And for those that don't know, well, I don't know what they like or what exactly to get, finances always work. A gift card, online donation, whatever it is. to sustain them and to keep them moving. So muzzle not the ox that treads out the corn. Whatever capacity someone is serving in, they should be benefiting from the service that they're getting. So don't withhold from that person that serves that which is going to be beneficial to strengthen them and to keep them moving forward and allow them to be able to bring forth and continue in the service that they are bringing forth and that they're producing, or the good that they're producing for you. And I yield.
May the Most High be praised. You know, Abba, I ain't never had nobody break it down like that before. It's like torture. It's like torture. It's cruel and unusual punishment. That's what it is. Because the animal is out there wanting to nibble. And you muzzle him, you closing his mouth so that he can't partake of what's on the ground, but yet you're keeping him around it constantly. That's like a lot of us striving to be rich, but we can see the money, hear the money, smell the money, but we can't obtain the money. So it hurts us. It brings us pain. And some people go off and do things to themselves because they can't get the money. It's torture. Instead of changing your mindset and seeing things differently, and then working on your resolving the issue differently. But animals can't do that when they're under that type of pressure. Animals don't think like that. Their mind is locked and focused in on what they desire. And if he's muzzled, if he's treading out the corn and all that stuff, some of it comes from under the mill, like you said, the stone, and the animal wants to eat it. He's going to keep picking at it. And if it goes past him, he could end up killing himself trying to get that corn that he done just passed. You know, it's a thing. And in real life, people who you have working for you, it's a way that you should deal with them if they're working for you. And that reminds me of how the Creator said in the commandments that thou should not hold someone's wages until the next day. You never know what that individual needs those wages for. So in essence, if you hire somebody for daily work, right, you should pay them daily. If you agree, this is just my opinion right here. I'm not saying that this is law. This is my opinion. If you all agree that I'm going to pay you on Friday, then that's a difference because you gave your word, you agreed, you consented to it. But by law, if someone works for you, you're supposed to pay them before the sun goes down. That's the law. All right. So there we go. And that those two looks like they go close to each other because they're both torture. If that person need those funds to handle some business of their own, they've earned it. They work for it. It's theirs. You never know what they have to get later. Now, if you dingle it in their face and you teasing them with it, they may go do something crazy or mischievous to obtain what they already obtained with you. But because you're not giving it to them, they need to go somewhere else and get it a different way. The Most High I believe, absolutely, he will hold you accountable for their actions. And that's just my opinion of the matter. All right?
Okay.
All right. Are there any other commandments?
Hello. Ziki said she was getting one, but she hasn't come on yet.
Ziki. Okay, Ziki. All right, no more commandments. Today is going to be a probably relatively short class. It ain't going to be all that long. Brother Asa, you coming on the platform, Brother Asa? The class shouldn't be that long. Sister Anit, are you present, Sister Anit? We need a reader, family. Somebody to come in and do their thing on the reading side. We need a reader. And we're going to be reading today from the book of Genesis, chapter 8. So while y'all determining and figuring out who's going to be the reader, I'm going to present one of the things in the room. Okay, here we go. We got a commandment. Deuteronomy 23:17.
All right, Deuteronomy 23:17 reads, there should be no whore of the daughter of Yisrael, nor a
No
son of the
sodomite.
sons of Yisrael.
Now, you know what's funny? Well, let's see. Ishi, do you have your interpretation? I guess that's your interpretation. There should be no daughters, no whores of the daughters of Israel. Okay,
Well, no, that's the first half of that law.
I know.
Understand right the rest of it.
She didn't write her interpretation, and I'm just speak until she writes her interpretation. Okay, there's her interpretation.
She said this means that the daughters of Zion should be kept pure until they marry. Sleeping with men that is not their husband is abominable to the Most High.
Very good. May the Most High be praised. Very much abominable before the Almighty. All right, so listen, that commandment, there should not be any sodomites of the sons of Israel. Sodomy means anal penetration. That's what it means. Now, I watched a video just yesterday. Yesterday. You know, Facebook have all those different videos on the platform. You know, brothers who have platforms like this, who have conversations. And this video must have lasted about 2-3 hours. I didn't watch the whole thing. I watched about 5-10 minutes of it. But it was these homosexual men trying to justify scripturally that homosexuality is accepted by the Creator. Trying to justify scripturally, I wanted to share it to my page. And the reason why I wanted to share it to my page was because their premise was about the New Testament and why certain different individuals of the Greek writings say that if that spirit is upon you, it's going to be upon you even in your sin, an abomination before the Creator. But we have it here. We have it here in the scripture, in the law that she just read, Deuteronomy 23:17, where it says, no man shall receive intercourse in his back end. Basically, that's what it says. But there's another law in the book of Leviticus. I want to say it's around 18, 19, maybe 20. No, it's not 20. I'm not sure where it is. In the book of Leviticus, where it says, mankind, and somebody can find that for me and then help me so I can maintain it. 18. I think it's 18 and 22, I think. Mankind shall not lie with mankind as he would with a woman. Now, the interesting thing about that is it says, someone may argue with that and says, whatever their grounds are, that doesn't mean that a man can't have intercourse. Now, I got to be careful what I say because, you know, they got us censored. Every little thing we talk about, they ready to shoot us down. So I got to say things in a certain way so you all understand me without us getting shut down again. Because we talk about religion, they shut us down. We talk about homosexuality, they shut us down. We talk about the vid thing, they shut us down. So I got to be real careful how I speak it. Did anybody find that? Leviticus, it is 18 and 22?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, this boy getting better. This boy getting better. He getting better. Oh, yeah. Go ahead, Most High. Keep on teaching. Keep on leading. We're going to keep following. There you go. Because that was straight from the hip. All right. That means my mind coming back to me in my sleep state, my mind coming back. And what it actually translates into is that when it says, you should not lie a man as with a woman, it actually says mankind is actually zakar, a masculine gender. So there's no mistake in that. Should not lie with zakar as he would a nikeva. Nikeva is female gender. So it's actually telling us that the masculine gender should not lie with the masculine gender as he would the female gender. There is no mistaking what that means. Any way you translate that from the Hebrew, you get the same outcome. That relationship between those two Zakorim is prohibited. It should not be. And there is no way you can shake that, make it, move it around. It is what it is. May the Most High be praised. But you got people who will try to move the word of the Almighty to their benefit and be comfortable in it and stand boldly and proudly on those grounds. But you got a question now. Listen to this for a minute. I'm going to introduce something here that you got to really think about. Can you really blame them when we got a teaching out in the earth that somebody died for your sins? Now, if somebody else died for your sins, that means whatever you do, somebody else paid the price for it. You follow me? So how can you really, if somebody is accepting that understanding, how can you really say, yo, bro, don't even try that over here? Because it didn't say what specific sins. It said your sins. That means whatever sins you committed, somebody paid that price already. Therefore, if somebody already paid that price, then you ain't got no price to pay. I heard this joke. And y'all tell me what y'all think about the joke. This is a funny joke. To me, it was funny. And y'all think about it for a second. And let me see if I can remember it correctly. This guy said he was like in the 3rd grade. And the Christian came to his class telling him about hell and death and all those type of things. So he raised his hand. He was real anxious to raise his hand. He said, Pastor, I got a question. Pastor. The pastor said, yes, young man, what's your name? He said, Toby. My name is Toby. He said, okay, Toby. He said, Pastor, if I took a blowtorch and burnt the angel with a blowtorch, would the angel get mad? The pastor said, Toby, angels can't burn up from no fire. You can't burn no angel. He said, well, what if I took that man's soul and burnt that man's soul with a fire, with the flame, with the blowtorch? He said, you can't burn people's souls with blowtorches and fires. It don't work that way, young man. He says the Creator has to punish the soul. You can't burn a soul with fire. He said, well, then what is hell all about? It made you think. Hell is supposed to be a place where your soul is being burnt up and tormented forever. And this guy was in the 3rd grade, he said. It's supposed to be a place where angels, servants, demons, fires, and souls go and get burnt. So if he can't burn it with a fire, with a flame, how are you going to burn it in hell with a fire and a flame? If it's impossible in one existence, it's probably impossible in the other. Anyway, we don't believe in heaven and hell and all that type of stuff. We live a different lifestyle. So it is what it is. But that's for those who believe in those type of things. They believe that you die, you're going to go to hell forever and burn up. That's not in the Torah. That's in the Greek writings. For some people who believe in it, let them believe in it. All right, let's move forward. Shabbat shalom, Brother Asa. Do you have a commandment for us, Brother Asa? If you're speaking, Brother Asa, you're on mute. Can I be heard?
Okay.
Yes.
Okay. Well, Brother Asa, are you speaking? Because you're on mute if you're speaking. Okay, maybe he's not with us yet.
Shabbat shalom.
Hey,
Right.
Okay, Brother Asa, you're on mute. You have a commandment for us, Brother Asa?
Okay, so my commandment comes from Shemot, Exodus chapter 16, verse 29. And it says, see, for that the Most High hath given you the Sabbath, therefore he giveth you on the 6th day the bread of 2 days. Abide ye every man in his place. Let no man go out of his place on the 7th day. So my understanding is that the Sabbath it stresses the importance of the Shabbat, and that because it is so important, the Most High makes provisions for us to see to our need, so that we're reminded that whatever needs that we have, He will provide for it. So we must ensure that we honor the Sabbath, as best as possible, and even to the extent of staying in our place, and so avoid traveling as much as possible. So that drives home the need for community, where if you are in the place of worship or a space of worship, then that is where you should aim to be ahead of the Sabbath, so that you won't have to be distracted and lose focus from what the Shabbat is all about: rest, community, fellowship, and studying Torah.
May the Most High be praised. Total about. And listen, family, I wanted to ask you all to pray for one of our elders, but I do not have the permission to do so. The elder is Murray Shalim. It's one of our elders that's going through a hard time with throat cancer. He's I have to check in with his family because I haven't spoken to his wife in about a month now, babe, Amy. It's been about a month now. So we have to find out the condition of our elder, but he just came across my spirit. I would love to ask you all to pray for him, but you can't pray for somebody without their permission, or without a family members that's close to them without their permission. So please forgive me, but just keep him in your thoughts, and give up a silent prayer inside your soul to the Almighty for a speedy recovery, or at least that his desires are fulfilled in the Most High's plans. So,
I'll text Azisha.
all right, Toda. Yeah. All right. All right. Yes, good commandment, Brother Asa. Good commandment. Now, Brother Asa, let me ask you a question about your commandment. How do you feel about people who go to work on the Shabbat?
Well, I feel like it's a matter of a faith issue, where they do not trust that the Creator will provide for them adequately enough, and so they actually yield to another source, another power. So in other words, they're trusting in what their employer pays them and rewards them, instead of what Most I can do for them if they just stick to guarding the Shabbat.
That was a very good way to put that, Brother Asa, that they're actually committing idolatry by putting their trust into this system for their survival, by giving into this system for their food and their waters. But I had a brother here the other week, one of my sons, spiritual sons, and he had fell off. We haven't been walking together in many years, and he fell off. And we began to speak about the keeping of the Shabbat. And this young man is very dear to my heart, very dear. And it saddened me that those things had taken place in his life. But I understand you can't control a man's destiny. If that's what the man's doing because he's decided to do it, there's nothing you can do about it except share the wisdom that you may have to try to get him to take and consider his actions, and then turn around, ask the Creator for forgiveness, and do better. But what he said to me, I understand what he said. I just disagree with the approach that he took to resolve his problem. And part of his response was, when real life issues hit, them bills got to be paid or else you can't live. You can't survive. So then how you going to pay them bills? Because he need to work. So I left you up for a reason, Brother Asa. My question is to you. When real life issues hit and them bills ain't getting paid and you about to be out on the street, then what do? And here you got 3 children, you can't feed them. You got two Nashim, two wives. You can't provide for them. You ain't got no choice. What are you going to do?
Well, what I do, I'd ensure that I resort to the Creator, and meaning like doing my own kind of say farming for food, because really and truly, a majority of the things that we think that we want, we need are not needs, they are wants. We need sunlight, we need air, we need water, and we need food, and all of those can come. All of those come directly from the Creator. They don't come from an employer or an industry. And so I would ensure that, even if I honor a European employer or any other that's not in Israel, I ensure that I start trying to do things that will sustain my family, and I encourage the entire community to actually start. So if you're in a contractual commitment right now, start turning to the earth, to the Creator, to actually provide for you before you actually need to actually reach to the part where you're cornered. Because if He is the one that gives you the commandment, I am confident 100% that there is more than enough for Him to send to you. And it's not necessarily in the way that you will do and eke out for yourself, but there is a way. Once he gives you breath of life, there is a way. And I cannot really go any extent to say this is the way it will be pinpointed out, because I've seen in many cases in my life where He comes through for me, and it's not the way I actually try to help myself.
Absolutely. May the Most High be praised. Great answer. Great answer. Everybody's journey, everybody's mission, everybody's struggle is different. There is no one colloquial answer that's going to cover all boundaries. But you never know what you will do until that time comes upon you. I can make some suggestions. I could tell you what I would do, because I already know. I could tell you what I would do. One of the things that I would do is I would reach out to somebody that I know and ask them for assistance. I don't know what's wrong with the heart of a man today in our minds, while we are too proud to ask somebody to assist us. If you see this brother getting it and you ain't getting it, and yet you're not lazy and you're striving to get it, but it's just not coming, then go ask that brother for some assistance. Yo, bro, hey, listen, I'm trying to provide for my family right now and I can't make it. We're not getting it. Can I make a loan from you? But I don't know when I'm going to be able to pay you back. So I can pay you back by working for you a service for a period of time to pay off whatever it is that I borrow from you. This is real, family. This is real. We got to think about that. I'm asking you, is it possible? Because I don't want to violate the Shabbat day and start working. Now I could work. I could put in a job application that can give me some employment. Then I could begin to feed my family. But how would that look to the Almighty that I grew that weak and weary? So I'm asking you, brother, because I trust that you have enough to provide for me and mine and yours. So I'm asking you, is it possible that I could get like maybe 10,000, 5,000, or 1,000 just to hold me over until my business that I'm trying to get up off the ground? Ask. All he can do is say, I don't have it or no. But if he's a true servant of the Creator and he has it, you will receive it with no interest. Not give it back to me, but you got to give me a little extra X amount of days, because the law also says thou shalt not put usury upon thy brother. So that's just one way of getting out of that system of having to work on the Shabbat. And of course, the very first thing you do is you go to the Almighty in supplication, prayer, and fasting. Morey Samak was teaching today about fasting and praying and going to the Almighty and crying to Him to have your prayers answered. He was speaking about that today. He's absolutely correct. He's absolutely correct. Praying to the Creator, not anything that you imagine to be the Creator, some deity or something. Praying to the Almighty. And he was 1,000% correct on that. But not just pray, but pray and then start doing whatever it is that you have to do to accumulate what you're trying to accomplish. He's absolutely correct. I'm totally with it. And we have to remember that same thing, that when we are down and we cannot get what we need in our time of need, that we ought to go to the Almighty first. And if we have to put forth effort to try to make it happen for ourselves, but if it gets to that place where it's not happening, then what you can do at that time is go seek out a brother or a sister that's getting it and ask them to help you. Or number two, you can reach out to someone who has a community and become a part of that community. And therefore, if you're in the community and the community is structured right and ran right, then everybody will have something to eat. Even if it's not every day, it's every other day or every few days, you'll have something to eat. Your needs will be provided for. Because as a community, we work together. If one ain't got no lights, none of us got any lights. If one ain't got no water, none of us ain't got no water. If one ain't got a roof, none of us ain't got a roof. We do with what we have to make it work for the family. And we have to remember that. That's the way we got to think. So those are two ways you can avoid working on the Shabbat. Reach out to somebody with a community and ask, can you bring your children and your wife and y'all come down and live in a community, even if you have to live in tents for a little while. Do what you got to do, because the name of the game is survival. And you can work from that tent till you get yourself up off the ground and survive. Another point that my brother Asa brought out that I really liked, and I see that he's listening in class, and that's very important, because a lot of people come to class just to hear temporarily, but don't retain the knowledge to put it to use. And I see that brother Asa is retaining this knowledge that he's learning. I watched a video the other day. Wise man who made this video, but he touched on the things that we talked about in class just last week or the week before. I think it was a week before. And that is that, and brother Asa talked about it today. The man on the video said that the human beings on the earth are the only ones who pay for their livings. We're the only ones. We pay a mortgage for our shelter. We pay for our water. We pay for our gas. We pay for our electric. But all 99% of creation, other than the humans, they get everything that they get freely. They live where they live freely. It's all provided for them. But we humans, our mind has elevated to a stage and to a level of development where we no longer want to live off of the natural things in life. And Brother Asa touched on that. A lot of times, our desires far excel past what our capabilities are. And when we have lost focus on maintaining and containing our desires so they don't get too far and the bill stretches out too much, then we go into a total disaster. And then we lose, and we have to call for help from someone else or something else to provide something that we could have done for ourselves had we kept a constraint on the things that we bring into our lives. So therefore, if a man wants to live, what he really needs is food, water, and shelter. He don't need a brand new car every year. He doesn't. Or even a brand new car. If he get a car at all, it could be a used car. As long as it's reliable, we're on the same page. He don't have to have 4 and 5 women. He doesn't. One wife is sufficient. If you can maintain more, then you maintain more. But one wife is sufficient. And you should watch the amount of children that you're producing. Rebirth is always important. We always encourage our people to have as many children as they can. But at the same time, you have to be able to afford those children. So while we're bringing our Yeludim into the earth today, as that Jewish man said, we should motivate and we should teach and structure the minds of our children to not settle for less, but shoot for the stars And if you shoot for the stars and you only get to the clouds, you're doing a lot better than the majority of the people in the earth. Doctors, lawyers, professional people, company owners, designers, craftsmen, people with skills and talents that can run their own companies, open their own businesses, where we don't have to rely on somebody else for our income, for our take. Because as soon as they say they're done with you, you're home suffering. And you don't know how you're going to get what you need to get. But if this was your company, all you got to do is sit back, rethink, and figure out how to make it better, and then go back and produce yourself into the world as a new brand and come out with a new way. There are people who made millions of dollars selling painted rocks. They would just paint a rock, put a smiley face on it, set a stand up somewhere, and their presentation said it all. And they became millionaires selling rocks. Israel's too proud. We can't do that type stuff. I'm too proud for that. Hey, we're going to go sell some rocks. We got a zillion pine cones on our land. A zillion pine cones. Take some of those pine cones. Get creative. Get creative with the pine cones. Varnish, shellac, and do some things to them. And then take them out and sell them. Call it a pet. Call it a pet pine cone. And another thing, and a lot of people get fun, may want to make fun of me when I say this last thing I'm about to say, and call me all kind of names and all types of things. But this thing is real. It'll work. You just got to try it. Get some sticks. Pray over those sticks. Varnish them up, polish them up, paint them, and sell them as holy vessels. I promise you, as long as you living right before this king, the blessings that you put upon those sticks will take hold, and it'll be real. A lot of people don't believe, a lot of people don't understand, but I'm promising you, if you living right before this king, and you take a blessing and place it upon these objects, and you sell these objects to individuals to bring blessings upon their lives, it will happen. And the people will see the difference in their lives because of the sticks that they purchased from you, thereby providing for you and your community. See, because that's the ultimate goal. That's a price the Most High ain't never got a problem paying. He will definitely give a blessing to somebody else to bring greater blessings to his family, to his children. The Most High is just that powerful. He will do that. If you don't believe it will work, family, try it. Abba, you ain't got to keep asking. You ain't got to keep asking. You didn't tell me once, maybe twice, and he's still persistent. So that's a wrap. It's cool. And thank you for taking care of that. I appreciate that. Family. Man is the only creature that pays for his survival. Every other creature in creation, it comes freely. They drink water freely. They eat food freely. They get shelter freely. They don't pay the big cat to live underneath the house that the cat built. No, only man has gotten that pompous. Only man has gotten that pompous that he needs to have shelter such as this. And if you realize, and if you think about it, over the years that we have gotten these type of shelters, we have gotten a whole lot less in our morals toward each other and the way we treat each other and the respect level that we have for each other. It's almost as if the Most High needs to take us back to the wilderness again to reprogram our minds so that we will become new, better creatures and individuals to serve him. Because with all the luxuries in life we have become confused. And as we've spoken about earlier, the hospitality of Abraham is not within us. So, Ima, I'm going to release the mic for a little bit, and I know you got some more things that you need to read for the family. Some people put up some commandments. Do you mind?
No, I don't mind. Sukari's law can be found in the book of Deuteronomy, Devarim, chapter 18, verse 13, And it says, "Thou shalt be perfect with the Creator," or before the Creator. And her explanation is, no matter what perfect is, what the Most High expects, I will repent and strive to be so.
I need to ask, Ima, what she mean by no matter what perfect is? There's a meaning for perfect. And I do like her commandment, very good commandment. Perfection doesn't mean perfect without error, without fault. Perfection means that you're doing your very best to be your very best before the Creator. You are far excelling past that of everyone else. All right. Read on, please. Go ahead. Next one.
Okay. The next one is Ezekiel's. She took me 1 second. Let me pull it up in my book. It's coming from Exodus, Shemot, chapter 23, verses 6, 7, and 8. And they read, "Thou shalt not wrest the judgment of thy poor in his cause. Keep thee far from a false matter, and the innocent and righteous slay thou not, for I will not justify the wicked. And thou shalt take no gift, for the gift bindeth the wise and perverteth the words of the righteous." And then her explanation reads, "Thou shalt not," okay, I'm sorry. She broke it down. "Thou shalt not wrest the judgment of thy poor in his cause." This means you should not distort or pervert justice, especially when it involves the poor. Everyone,
Are you reading from your phone?
yes.
Okay, I'm sorry.
It's me.
My apologies.
It's okay. Especially when it involves the poor. Everyone deserves their fair treatment, regardless of their social or economic status. Keep thee far from a false matter, and the innocent and righteous shall thou not, for I will not justify the wicked. This advises staying away from lies and deceit. It also warns against harming innocent and righteous people, because the Creator will not support or justify those who do evil. And then her last verse says, "And thou shalt take no gift, for the gift bindeth the wise and perverteth the words of the righteous." This warns against accepting bribes. Accepting gifts can corrupt even wise people and cause them to twist the truth or make unjust decisions. Basically, these verses emphasize the importance of honesty, fairness, and protecting the innocent. They remind us to uphold justice, avoid deceit, and not let personal gain influence our decisions.
Mhm. Very well. May the Most High be praised. Now, she gave like 3 or 4 commandments, didn't she?
Yeah, 3. Yep. Yes.
Ain't that nice? You can tell a strong mind. May the Most High be praised.
Okay.
And Ima Sukari says, "Perfect is beyond my skill. I do know how to improve." Then it's not beyond your skill. You're doing your thing. May the Most High be praised. To the Rabbi. All right. Anyone else?
No, I don't see any more right now.
No more commandments? Oh, I thought we had quite a few. All right. No problem. All right. So it's now 5:24. So it looks like we might be able to read chapter 8 of the book of Genesis. The imagination of man's heart is evil from his youth. It looks like we may be able to do chapter 8, and we're going to try to do chapter 9 if we have time. Brother Asa, you with me, Brother Asa?
Yes, I'm here with you.
All right, let's rock and roll, bro.
Genesis chapter 8, verse 1.
Let me get it up on the screen for everybody who might not have their book with them. You ready to rock and roll, family? Let's go.
Genesis 8, verse 1. And Elohim remembered Noah, and all the beasts and all the cattle that were with him in the ark. And Elohim made a wind to pass over the earth, and the waters subsided. And the fountains of the deep and the windows of the heavens were stopped, and the rain from the heavens was withheld. and the waters receded steadily from the earth. And at the end of the 150 days, the waters diminished. And in the seventh new moon, the 17th day of the new moon, the ark rested on the mountains of Ararat. And the waters decreased steadily until the 10th new moon.
Now, the waters stopped coming upon the earth in the 7th month, and the waters decreased until the 10th month. But when the waters decreased and went back, he still didn't go out there and say, hey, you know what? It's dry. Let me go handle this. Let's get off the boat. He didn't do that. He tested his condition. He tested his environment. He tested his mind, and what he wanted to do, he had to put it to test. And how often do we do something like that today, family? How often do we check and test our decisions prior to doing what it is that we do to see if the results are going to be favorable to our desired outcome? Or do we just move out on a matter, move out on a thing, allow our emotions to control us, which usually is a disappointment? Because Noah could have just said, hey, the waters has abated off the earth. Let's get down there. But remember, it rained for 100 and something days. Was it 159 days, I think it rained? Water was upon the face of the earth. It rained for 40 days and 40 nights, but the water was upon the earth. I think it was 59 days. I believe that's what it was. So that ground got really saturated and it needed to dry. Even after the waters dissipated, the ground or soil still needed to dry. Another 40 days is going to go by before he does anything. Read on, please.
In the 10th, Genesis 8 verse 5 continued, in the 10th new moon, on the first day of the new moon, the tops of the mountains became visible. And it came to be at the end of 40 days that Noah opened the window of the ark which he had made. And he sent out a raven which kept going out and turning back until the waters had dried up from the earth.
40 days before he did anything. And he sent out the raven. You know what a raven is? A raven is a bird of prey, meaning that they will eat animals and dead things and things of that nature. And he didn't find any. He found nowhere to rest his feet because there was nowhere for him to eat. That meant that the water was still there. It wasn't dried up like it needed to be. Read on, please.
Then he sent out a dove from him to see if the waters had receded from the face of the ground.
What was the purpose of him sending out the dove? Because if the dove had not returned, or if the dove returned and brought something green with him, then he knew that there were places on the earth that was dry and ready to be inhabited. Or if the dove didn't come back, then he knew the dove had to go somewhere. Read on, please.
But the dove found no resting place for its feet and returned into the ark to him, for the waters were on the face of all the earth. So he put out his hand and took it and pulled it into the ark to himself. And he waited yet another 7 days.
Look at that relationship he had to have with that dove.
Mm-hmm.
When the dove came back, he reached out his hand and brought the dove back to himself. They had to have a symbiotic relationship, the two of them. They had to. And I want you all to keep in mind that at this time, the earth was all at one language. Everything in creation upon the earth that was alive, that had the breath of life, spoke one language. And that's important that y'all understand that. Yeah. Read on, please.
And he waited yet another 7 days, and again he sent the dove out from the ark. And the dove came to him in the evening, and see, a freshly plucked olive leaf was in its mouth.
He came back in the evening. Later in that day, he came back in the evening with an olive branch in his mouth. But watch what happens. Noah is still testing his surroundings. He didn't just say, hey, it's green, it's dry, it's everywhere, vegetation is growing. No, because all that meant was vegetation was somewhere. Didn't mean everywhere. So watch what Noah does in his still testing the ground.
Genesis 8 verse 11 continued. And Noah knew that the waters had receded from the earth. And he waited yet another 7 days and sent out the dove, which did not return to him again.
Read on.
And it came to be in the 601st year, in the first month, the first day of the new moon, that the waters were dried up from the earth. And Noah removed the covering of the ark and looked, and saw the surface of the ground was dry. And in the second new moon, on the 27th day of the new moon, the earth was dry. And Elohim spoke to Noah, saying, Go out of the ark, you and your wife, and your sons wives with you.
Let's stop for a second. And it came to pass in the 601st year, in the first month, on the first day of the month. What month would that be? Anybody know? What's the first month?
Abib.
Abib. Abib is the first month. In the first month, on the first day of the month, the waters were dried up on the earth. And Noah removed the covering of the ark and looked and beheld the face of the ground was dry, but he didn't move. He still didn't move. He was waiting for the command of the Almighty to move forward. How many of you, how many of us put that kind of trust in the Almighty to guide our steps and to guide our direction and the decisions that we make? We put that trust in the hands of the Father. How many of us? That girl you sat down, that woman you sat down with, that female you sat down with and decided you wanted to marry her, did you take her before the Creator and say, Creator, is she going to serve me right? Is she an asset to my life? Is she a good woman? Will she be a good woman for my children? Will she obey my voice? Will she walk hand in hand as I walk with you, Creator? Did you ask the Creator those questions? Noah didn't have that problem. Noah didn't step off that boat till he had a conversation with the Almighty. There are times and dilemmas in our lives that we have to go and seek advice. You can't talk to man who is flesh and blood about everything. Some things you got to keep to yourself and take to the Almighty. He may reveal his answer through flesh and blood, but they won't even know what they're telling you. We have to learn to speak to the Almighty more often, family, because the imagination of man's mind is evil from his youth. You will think a matter is acceptable to the Creator. You will think that what you want to do is okay with the Creator. Then you need to go ask him. And sometimes, family, you would think the decisions of somebody else, especially your spiritual leadership, is wicked before the Creator. You need to go ask the Creator, is it your opinion that you're judging, or is this fact wickedness? Because the imagination of man's mind is evil from his youth. Sometimes we are over righteous and we judge our leadership with a measuring rod that is unrighteous but is unbeknown to us. We want our leaders to be what we ourselves are not willing to be, and there's nothing wrong with that. But the problem is you can't put on your leader what you say is law when the Most High didn't say it was. And that's what a lot of people do. And that's why a lot of people go from place to place to place to place, because they're trying to be as the power of the Creator to their superior. And that's not the way it works. We, in this mind that we got right now, the imagination of man's heart, man's mind, is evil from his youth. The majority of us don't want nobody else telling us what we're supposed to be doing in our marriage, in our lives, in our households. Somebody need to tell you, bro, because you ain't got it right. But in our minds, we're right. This is the way I'm going to run my house. And ain't nobody going to come in here and tell me how to run my... Sometimes, bro, sis, you got to humble yourself. Because if your method and if your ways was so great, strong, and mighty, you wouldn't need anybody else. You'd be all by yourself. Or you'll be superior in position, organizing, structuring, and running things. That's where you would be. A lot of us, we don't want to hear the advice of anyone else, especially as a man, as a male, especially when it comes to our house. You could tell me what to do outside them doors, but you ain't going to tell me nothing about how I treat my wife and how I run my children and how I do my house. You're not going to tell me anything. And that's wrong. Because if this man is the leader and a spiritual guide, then you have to utilize him for all the resources that he's able to provide. You don't have to judge him with a measuring rod that you phantom within your own mind. You judge him with the measuring rod of the Torah. That's how you judge him. Not off of your opinion, but what thus saith the Most High. That's how you determine if this man is worthy to be your spiritual leader. And if he's violating the laws of the Creator, then that's one thing. But if he's doing something that appears to you to be a violation of the law, present him that violation. And if he's really a righteous man, and if he is violating, he will change his ways. Y'all don't know what I'm talking about. I know. Somebody in the audience know what I'm talking about, though. Let's read on. Let's go.
Genesis 8, verse 17. Bring out with you every life form of all flesh that is with you, of birds, of cattle, and all creeping creatures.
Did you go to 15?
I can go back to 15. So
Yeah, I didn't hear you read 15. My apologies if you did.
That's fine. And Elohim spoke to Noah, saying, go out of the ark, you and your wife, and your sons wives with you.
The Most High had to command him to go ahead out. It's okay. We don't wait for the Most High's instructions today. We go based off of our own opinion of matters that are detriment to our survival. We should trust in the Most High enough to question him and learn to lean on his leadership. Read on, please.
Can I ask a question? I'm just curious.
Absolutely.
If they had marital relations while on the ark.
Why wouldn't they?
Because it's a disastrous setting.
Doesn't matter. Doesn't matter. If it's so disastrous, they got to release some stress, right?
Okay.
Hey, what's the best stress reliever? Go ahead, bro. Yeah, they had marital relations while on the ark. There was no law prohibiting them. The Most High never commanded them not to. And it was a disastrous situation. The best thing to do is bring some pleasure. Read on, please. Or unless you got another question.
Well, no, that's it basically. If it was, say, persons were intimidated by the fear of the flood and so on, and if there was somebody who didn't want to get out of the ark, just out of extra caution. I'm just reading in this verse that, it seems to be that, that he had a command right there to get them out of the ark, whether or not they wanted or they were ready to get out of the ark.
They didn't know. Remember, the water was on the earth for such a long time. Who knew if when we step on that ground, we're not going to sink? Who knew? How could they possibly know that? They had to let the door down in order to get down there. Remember this. When they went into the ark, the Most High closed them in. He closed that door. He bolted that door. And maybe it was that they couldn't even open it if they wanted to. I don't know. But maybe that could be the answer. So the Most High had to also let them out. Who knows? Read on, please, unless you got another question.
No, verse 17. Bring out with you every form of all flesh that is with you, of birds, of cattle, and all creeping creatures, the creeping creatures on the earth, and let them teem on the earth and bear and increase on the earth. So Noah went out, and his sons and his wife, and his sons' wives with him, every beast, every creeping creature, and every bird, whatever creeps on the earth, according to their kinds, went out of the ark. And Noah built a slaughter place to the Most High, and took off every clean beast, and of every clean bird, and offered ascending offerings on the slaughter place. And the Most High smelled a soothing fragrance, and the Most High said in his heart, never again shall I curse the ground because of man, although the inclination of man's heart is evil from his youth, and never again strike all living creatures as I have done, as long as the earth remains, seed time and harvest, and cold and heat, and summer and winter, and day and night shall not cease.
Now, y'all hear that? while the earth remaineth seed time and harvest. How come he didn't mention spring, summer, fall, and winter? Because they don't exist. Summer and winter are the only two seasons that really exist. The other ones are those that are intertwined, which we call Arab. See, an Arab, the word Arab means mixture. And every day we have two Arabs, one in the morning, one at night. We have a mixture of light and darkness. If you go to sleep right now and wake up at, let's say the Arab is at 5 o'clock, and you wake up at 5 o'clock in the morning and you lost track of time, you won't know if it's the morning or the evening. You have to be still for about 5 or 10 minutes and see if light becomes dominant on the earth or if darkness becomes dominant on the earth. Most people don't even pay attention, but we have two Arab in one day. And we also have two Arab in 1 year. Each time the seasons change, we have an Arab. When you go, the winter Arab is the winter solstice. The winter solstice or the winter Arab is what they call it, March the 17th of every year on the Gregorian calendar is known as the, what's that called when you got equinox?
The vernal equinox.
Yeah, you got vernal equinox, the even amount of daylight and the even amount of nightlight, but that's not really true because it's not actually even. It's close to even, close to being even as possible, but it's not actually 12 hours of daylight, 12 hours of nightlight. That's not what it is. You have one in the summer, one in the spring, when the winter is turning from winter to spring. And then you have one in the summer, when the summer is ending in the month of September, is going from spring to winter. Those are the only two real seasons we have. The rest of the other two seasons are made up. But the natural occurrence of the events are orchestrated in the heavens, and we only really have two seasons, that's summer and winter. Summer turns into winter, winter turns into summer, and a day turns into night, and night turns into day. That's not to say a span of time that we continuously say is a day. We're talking about daylight hours turn into night hours, and then night hours turn into daylight hours. The completion of a daylight and a nightlight is a completion of one singular day. And that's where a lot of the problem come in at with the people, but it's all right. We're not going to have that discussion right now. That's for another day. You see how I got that in there? For a different day. And it ain't got to be daylight when we have it. It could be at night. It'll still be on that day. Read on. Go ahead, brother. Let us know where you at. You want to read 22 again, or you ready to go to the next chapter?
Okay, let me go read 22 again. It says, as long as the earth remains, seed time and harvest, and cold and heat, and summer and winter, and day and night shall not cease.
Day and night shall not cease.
Genesis 9, verse 1. And Elohim blessed Noah and his sons and said to them, be fruitful and increase and fill the earth.
Elohim, the Most High, he blessed Noah and his sons. And he said, milieu. Milieu means to be redo. Milieu, there it is right there. Milieu. Milieu, it means to redo. Read on, please.
And the fear of you and the dread of you is on every beast on the earth, on every bird.
Now watch this. Why did the Most High have to say that? Why did the Most High have to say, and the fear of you shall be on every animal of the earth? Because the animals stopped fearing man. They started eating man. They started devouring man. Once they tasted that blood, they became carnivorous. And they began to eat animals, other animals, and they began to eat people. Well, people started eating men, and people started eating animals. Y'all got to remember where we at. The original creation of mankind was that their diet was supposed to be the herbs and the vegetation. What did they do to create sin in the earth where the Most High had to destroy it? One of the things that they did was they started eating meat. And eating meat with the blood in the meat does something to the mind of man. That's why the Creator tells us to pour the blood on the ground. Don't eat the meat with the blood in it. How do I know? Because he's going to have to repeat it right here. He had to tell them all over again, don't do it like this. If you're going to eat meat, which I really don't want you to do, but if you're going to, I'm going to let you. And this is how you do it. Read on, please.
Genesis 9, verse 2. And the fear of you and the dread of you is on every beast of the earth, on every bird of the heavens, on all that creeps on the ground, and on all the fish of the sea. Into your hand they have been given.
Do you know that blessing that the Most High just placed upon us is being diminished in the earth right now as we speak? The animals are not fearing us anymore. This has been for some time now. The lions are coming out of the jungle, eating up people like they did in the book of Samaria, in the time of Samaria, where the animals came out of the jungle and began to eat people. You follow me? These things are happening again. The fowls are not afraid of you anymore. Man, even the squirrels don't run no more. Even the squirrels and the rabbits are not afraid of you like they used to be. Man, we walk down our land, you see a rabbit way down the way. Before you can get to it, that rabbit gone. Not now. You can get in shooting distance of that rabbit now. And he don't run. He look at you for a little while. Matter of fact, he will watch you walk up to him and then dart. Once you get close, he'll dart then. It's unbelievable. You got to watch and observe nature. Watch and observe nature. Things are not the way things are supposed to be. They're slowly returning back to the days when the Most High had to destroy the earth. But this time he's going to do it a different way. Read on, please.
Genesis 9, verse 3. Every creeping creature that lives is food for you. I have given you all, as I have gave the green plants.
Now remember, family, this is the law that the Most High gave to man, not Israel. No Israelite is being given this law at this particular time. This law is for mankind. The Hebrews are going to come through Shem. That's who the Hebrews are going to come through, one of his children. But this law at this time was given for mankind. Let's read on.
Verse 4. But do not eat flesh with its life, its blood. But only your blood for your lives I require. From the hand of every beast I require it. And from
now,
the hand...
why did he say from the hand of every beast I require the blood of your life? It's because the animals started killing and eating the people. There's my verification right there. The Most High had to set up order and structure. No more is this going to be. I'm not going to allow this to anymore. I'm going to hold them all accountable. Remember, the imagination of man's mind is evil from his youth. Read on, please.
From the hand of every man's brother I require the life of man. Verse 6. Whoever sheds man's blood, by man his blood is shed, for in the image of Elohim has he made man. As for you, be fruitful and increase. Bring forth teemingly in the earth and increase in it. And Elohim spoke to Noah and to his sons with him, saying, And I establish my covenant with you and with your seed after you, and with every living being that is with you, of the birds, of the cattle, and of every beast of the earth with you, of all that go out of the ark, every beast of the earth. And I shall establish my covenant with you, and never again is all flesh cut off by the waters of the flood, and never again is there a flood to destroy the earth.
Now, what was the covenant that the Most High just told them that he made with them? What was that covenant? Anybody? Because he spoke several times in this verse about a covenant that he was going to make. Did he make that covenant? And if he did, what was that covenant? Anybody know the answer to that?
The Noahic covenant.
Say it again.
The Noahic covenant.
And what was it? See, that's the term, that's the name that we give to it. But what was the covenant that the Most High made with Noah and his children?
That never again would he destroy the earth with water.
There you go.
Yeah.
He will never flood the entire earth with water again because of the sins of man. And he put a rainbow in the sky as a sign of that covenant. That he wouldn't violate, that he wouldn't break that covenant again. Read on, brother. Where you at? 6?
No,
No.
not 6. Verse 12. And Elohim said, "This is the sign of the covenant which I make between me and you, and every living being that is with you, for all generations to come. I shall set my rainbow in the cloud, and it shall be for the sign of the covenant between me and the earth."
So every time you see a rainbow, that's what it's symbolic of. The covenant that the Creator made with Noah and his children and all the animals at that time, that he will never again flood the entire earth because of the evil of mankind. Read on, please.
And it shall be, when I bring a cloud over the earth, that the rainbow shall be seen in the cloud. And I shall remember my covenant which is between me and you and every living being of all flesh, and never again let the waters become a flood to destroy all flesh. Verse 16. And the rainbow shall be in the cloud, and I shall see it, to remember the everlasting covenant between Elohim and every living being of all flesh that is on the earth.
That means the Most High is always watching. Read on.
And Elohim said to Noah, "This is the sign of the covenant which I have established between me and all flesh that is on the earth." And the sons of Noah who went out of the ark were Shem and Ham and Japheth. And Ham was the father of Canaan. These three were the sons of Noah, and all the earth was overspread from them. And Noah, a man of the soil, began and planted a vineyard. And he drank of the wine and was drunk, and became uncovered in his tent. And Ham, the father of Canaan, saw the nakedness of his father, and told his 2 brothers outside. So Shem and Japheth took a garment, laid it on both their shoulders, and went backward and covered the nakedness of their father. But their faces were turned away, and they did not see their father's nakedness. Verse 24. And Noah awoke from his wine, and he knew what his younger son had done to him. And he said, "Cursed is Canaan, let him become a servant of servants to his brothers." And he said, "Blessed be the Most High, the Elohim of Shem, and let Canaan become his servant. Let Elohim enlarge Japheth, and let him dwell in the tents of Shem, and let Canaan become his servant." And Noah lived after the flood 350 years. So all the days of Noah were 950 years, and he died.
All right, that's the end of that. Story over. Let's go home. Let's close it out. Psych. There is so much that was just said right there that most people who read this don't even have the slightest understanding of the prophecy and different things that just took place in what we just read. So Prince is here. He's going to break it down a little bit so you can understand. And anybody who left, they're going to miss out on a great lesson. Here we go. These are the 3 sons of Noah, verse 19. When the whole earth was overspread, the whole earth was overspread, and Noah began to be a husbandman, and he planted a vineyard, and he drank of the wine and gotten drunk. So they had been there for some time. The vegetation had begun to grow. He planted some wine, and he drunk his wine. It's a whole process that you got to do to create wine. You don't just take grapes and smash them up and eat them. They got to ferment. You got to leave them for a while. They got to ferment. They got to ripen, and then you can drink the juice, and you become intoxicated. So Noah made some strong wine, and he drank of the wine and was drunken, and he was uncovered within his tent. So he had every right to get drunk in his own tent. There was no violation against that. So far, Noah didn't do anything. You remember Asa, Brother Asa, remember earlier when you mentioned about the stress and the suffering and the pain and the devastation of what you're going through, you need some kind of outlet. Well, that was Noah's outlet. He went and got drunk. but he did it, and I have to respect that part. I don't condone drinking. I don't think any of us should drink. None of us, especially you alcoholic. None of us shouldn't drink. But if you're going to drink, do it in the confines of your own home, like Noah did. He didn't do nothing wrong. He was able to get drunk off his own wine, not something that he brought from the store that had nanobites in it, like you doing today. He ain't do that. He made his own wine. It was free and clear, all nanobite activity. Oh man, I gotta be careful. Wine don't have nanobites in it. Don't nobody believe that. Don't pay that no attention. All right, that was just a joke. It was a joke. Come on, it was a joke. He drank his own wine. He drank of the wine and was drunken and was uncovered within his tent. And Ham, now watch this, the father of Canaan saw the nakedness of his father. Now, who saw Noah's nakedness? His son Ham. Ham saw it and made fun of it and teased him. And Ham went off and said, hey, come here, y'all, look at this. Ha, ha, ha. Look at Abba. Never make fun of your father. I don't care how bad your father's situation is. You never make fun of him. You never tease your father. You never make fun of your father. You never tease your father. You always hold your father to the highest regards in your mind. Even if you don't like what he say, you respect that. And you don't have to always agree and do what your father says. If your father tells you to do something against the law, then you respectfully, and if you live in his house, you got to do what he say. If you live in your father's house, then you do what your father say for you to do. But if you grown and you live on your own, you do what you choose to do if you disagree with what your father say, but you don't disrespect your father. Same thing with your mother. But your father per se, because we're talking about the zakar, the man. So here we got Ham made fun of his father and disrespect his father. Why did they mention Ham, the father of Canaan? Excuse me. See, there was no purpose, no reason, because Canaan might not even have been born yet. This was a prophecy. Because remember, they only been there for a period of time. He might have been born because that period of time was maybe a long lapse of time. We don't know how long it was. But Canaan wasn't even supposed to be around at this time. If this was early when they first got off the boat, after some vegetation grew. Or maybe they was having whoopee for that 159 days on the ark, and somebody got pregnant, and now they're about to deliver that baby when they come through. Who knows? It's a possibility. So here we go. I mean, it would take a whole more longer than 159 days, but she could have went there pregnant. Who knows? All right. Now watch this. He saw the nakedness of his father and told his two brethren without. He made fun of his father. And watch what happened. And Shem and Japheth took a garment and laid it upon their shoulders and went backwards and covered the nakedness of their father. Now, there's a school of thought that says Noah's nakedness wasn't that he was laying there nakedness, but Noah's wife may have been laying there nakedness. Noah's wife's nakedness is still Noah's nakedness. Y'all have to understand that. When the Creator gives us the law in the book of Leviticus, and he speaks about no man shall uncover his father's nakedness, for she is thy mother, or she is thy mother's-in-law. The Creator specifically calls it your father's nakedness. So that trend of thought says that that may have been what they was covering up, his mother, their mother, and not Noah himself by being uncovered. But my question is, well, then again, they might be right, because he was also drunk. And by him being drunkard, he might have had intercourse with his woman. You never know. Both of them could have been drunk. And they might have slept in a manner, not thinking anybody coming in, and been, I don't know the answer to that. I'm just telling you what they teach. That's a possibility. But let's get to the answer that we know is the simplest answer, and that was that Noah was laying on the ground naked. His two sons heard what Ham had said. So what they did was they said, well, we already know the condition of our father. We don't need to go check. Let's just put this blanket on the both of us and let's walk in backwards till we kick his feet, and then we'll cover him. We know his body is there. We'll just cover him with the blanket and we'll move on. Because watch how it says they covered the nakedness of their father and their faces was backwards. Now, why would they have to say that they didn't look upon the nakedness of their father? That law didn't come about until the days of Moses, which is a whole lot of generations from this time. Why was it an evil act or a sinful thing? What was it inside of their nature that told them not to look upon the nakedness of their father?
Their respect for their father?
Their respect. Some things are just innately inside of us. Some things we know and ain't nobody got to tell us. Like you can't sleep with another man's wife. Like that idolatry, now we get caught up in idolatry sometime, but we all know that idolatry is something wicked. Even though we get caught up in it and don't understand that we're there. It's just certain things not to lay down with an animal. You just know these things innately, but we don't always do these things that we know are right or wrong. Now watch this. They went in backwards and they covered them up. They saw not their father's nakedness. Now watch this. And Noah woke from his wine and knew what his younger son had done unto him. He wasn't too drunk, was he? His son disrespected him on the highest level. It's something about a son that disrespects his father that is evil, evil, evil in the sight of the Creator. Evil, evil, evil. And the Most High shall bring down his wrath upon that head. And watch what the Most High did. And this is strange how the Most High skipped Ham and brought the curse upon his son. And then a lot of us asking and wondering why our children are out of their mind running back crazy around here in these streets, like somebody poisoned them or something and put something in their food and made them lose their mind. We're wondering sometimes why our children are like that. A lot of times our children are like that because of the way that you're living. And the Most High brings that curse upon you and your household. David's children was crazy the way that they was because of David's sins. Because of what David did. His son slept with his daughter. His son tried to take his kingdom. All of this was a result of the sin of David. The Most High spared David's life, but brought punishment upon everything in his house. And it didn't please him because David was a family man. Here we have Noah. His son Ham is the one who disrespected him, but yet Ham's son ended up paying the price. Not only Ham's son, but all the descendants that came from Canaan, the son of Ham, paid that price. Now watch this prophecy that's going through. We're going to start at 24. Now here are the prophecies. Shabbat Shalom, Hanabi. Shabbat Shalom. Here we go. And Noah awoke from his wine and knew what his younger son had done unto him. And he said, this is what Noah said, cursed be Canaan. Here's the prophecy. A servant of servants shall he be unto his brother. Do anybody know who the Canaanites are throughout history? You'll find that in the 10th chapter, who the Canaanites are. Mitzrayim, the Africans, Cushrim, all those people are servants of servants. Has nothing to do with you as an Israelite. Nothing at all. Now watch this. All these things are prophecy. Here we go. And he said, Blessed be the Most High Elohim of Shem. Now pay attention, please. Blessed be the Most High Elohim of Shem. That meant that Shem is going to have that blessing upon his life from the Almighty. Shem is going to have that blessing. He said, blessed be the Most High Elohim of Shem. Watch this. And Canaan shall be his servant. Canaan shall be the servant of who? Of Shem. So therefore, you come out of Shem. The Africans and all those other people of that nation come out of Canaan. So they're supposed to be your servants. Matter of fact, all nations upon the earth are supposed to be your servants. But watch this, because I ain't finished yet. They are supposed to be the servants of Shem, Canaan, and Ham, and all them supposed to serve Shem. And you are Shem. Verse 27. It says, Elohim, now watch, here come another prophecy. Pay attention. And Elohim shall enlarge Yafet. Who's Yafet? Yafet, anybody know? Look at the next chapter, chapter 10. Gomer, Magog, Laban, Magog, all those nations are Yafet. You know who Yafet is today? Ashkenazi, they call themselves Jewish, Ashkenazi Jewish. That's Yafet. That's their lineage. Look at the 10th chapter. It says there, and the children of Yafet, Ashkenaz. And today we have a whole nation of people that call themselves still by their ancient name, Ashkenazi. They're letting you know they're Ashkenaz. But I want to bring something into your mind that you might not know. If you're not paying attention, you're going to miss it. And ain't nobody out here teaching this. So pay attention. They can teach it if they want, but that's okay if they teach it. It's a good thing. Spread that knowledge. Watch this. And Elohim shall enlarge Yafet, and Yafet shall dwell in the tents of Shem. And Yafet shall dwell in the tents of Shem. Wait a minute. Who's Shem? We Shem. And Yafet is going to dwell in the house of Shem. Who's living in our land right now besides the Ashkenazi Jew? That's a prophecy. And it came true. That's a prophecy, family. And it came true. Ashkenazi shall dwell in the tents of Shem. Shem, Ashkenazi are the children of Yafet. And they're dwelling in our home right now. And Canaan shall be their servants. They got a lot of Africans over there that they got from different lands in Africa and brought them, airdropped them, airlift them right into the land, and they're living there now. They're discriminating against them, but that's the case. That's the reality where we're living at today. Ashkenazi and Yafet shall dwell in the tents of Shem, and they are right in our position today. And Canaan shall be his servant. Canaan is going to serve both nations. And Noah lived after the flood 350 years. 850 years, 6, 7, 8, 950 years. And all the days of Noah were 950 years, and he gave up the ghost. May the Most High be praised. May the Most High bless the memory of our father Noah. May the Most High bring longevity to his days, wherever the Most High have him existing in that today. I pray that you have gotten some information from this lesson today, family, that was useful, that you could use, that you can go out and help spread the knowledge and show the world that you know your book, that you can serve this king, that you can do what it is that this father has for you to do. It was a curse and a punishment, but it was a prophecy. The Most High knows all things. All the way back then, he was telling us what will take place like almost 1,000 years later. Almost 1,000 years. Matter of fact, a little over 1,000 years in many cases. He was telling us what would take place. Several thousand years, if you do your math, right? So at this time, family, we're going to ask for any questions, comments, anyone?
Well, great lesson as always. First of all, Torah Rabah for bringing it, for sharing it. And like I say, yeah, and that was, I like the way that you brought that out. In fact, I never heard anybody bring that out that way. So that was very informative. So like I say, when you know, you know. When you know, you know. And so like I say, very enlightening, and definitely Torah Rabah for bringing forth a great lesson, friends.
May the Most High be praised. Torah Rabah. Torah Rabah. Anyone else?
Great lesson, Abba. Great lesson.
Okay. Thank you. May the Most High be praised. Any comments from the Sidebar family? Anybody got any comments? Anyone? I already answered that. It was both. Yes, 1 and 7 replace the commandment. Absolutely. Okay, Ham couldn't be cursed because he was blessed. Okay, I'll accept that. May the Most High be praised. Torah Rabah. I'll accept that. Any other questions or comments? Honor thy father and thy mother till you older and live on your own. No age limit on honor. There you go. More information that I ever heard on Genius. Okay, is that Toby Genesis? Okay, yeah. Thank you, Ima. Torah Rabah. Alo Daba, Ishi. Any other questions or comments, family? No questions or comments? All right. We're going to close out with a prayer. Hey, Nabi, you want to come in here and close us out with a prayer, Nabi? Nabi, you want to close us out with a prayer? I can send you the link. You can come on the screen. You know, it's a little slight delay, so he might just get it a few minutes later. If you're coming, there's the button. Just hit that link and it'll bring you right on. If you're not, it's okay. We'll close it out. All right, family, we're going to move forward. We're going to close this out.
It's okay.
Okay. You got to hit the link, Nabi. Hit the link, it'll bring you on the screen. We're waiting for you, Nabi.
You know, but if they don't have StreamYard, sometimes.
Oh, he can't do it. Okay, that's right. Don't worry about it, Nabi. Download it, Nabi, so the next time you'll be able to pull up. Just download it, set up the account, because that's what it's going to ask you to do. And then that's what's going to take so long. All right. All minds are clear. All minds are free as we approach into the Almighty. Berakata Abi Eloheinu Melech Haolam Asher Baha Banu Mekoyo Ha'amin Wenoten Lanu HaTorah Wenoten Lanu Chaya Winoteng la nu mishpaka bepo hashaba haze. Todoraba abi kikoya otanu abi. Todoraba. Great and mighty Master, King and ruler over all things, we humble ourselves before you, Abi, and we pray for permission to approach unto your throne. May the prayers of our soul and the meditation of our minds be accepted before thee, Most High, our power. From eternity to eternity, may we forever be pleasing in thy sight. Please forgive us of our sins and our iniquities, O great King. Please, for we do not err intentionally. We do not walk with a sinful mind and a sinful spirit. We desire to be right before thee at all times. So please count our efforts as something positive in the way and the direction of our obedience and loyalty to thee. Help us, Almighty One. Help us, please, for there are times where we can't help ourselves and we give in to the lower inclinations of the flesh. But we ask, O great King, that you will make us strong, fortify our souls, fortify our minds and our spirit, and give us the ability to fight against the negative that comes into our spirit, and allow us to do that which is pleasing and right, and put you in the forefront of our minds at all times, and obey your voice. Thank you, O Most High, for allowing your people to be gathered in this place, a portion of your people, to be gathered in this place and using me as your servant to address your people, your children, the holy ones of Yisrael. Thank you, Avi, for that wonderful opportunity. And I don't take it lightly. I hold it high in my mind for something that you have chosen to do and something that you have allowed to be. May I forever also be pleasing in your sight, Father. Please have mercy upon your people and all those who call upon you in truth in any way that they do, as long as their souls are pure and clean to you. And those who are doing it in wickedness, Father, in evil and bringing idolatry along the way, open up their minds so that they too may see their sin and their error, and shake the adversarial spirits away from them and serve you with a pure mind, with a pure action, with a pure intention, and uplift your name throughout all creation and all dimensions of time that you take them into. Unto thee, O great King, we pray forever and ever. And we all say, Toda Abi, Abi, Toda Rabbah. Thank you, Father, for hearing our prayers. Ima, did you have a see that, Nabi? You could have been to the stage, Nabi. Is there anything you would like to say, Nabi, since you came up? Is there anything you would like to say to the family?
I was just listening in. I'm gonna read the prayer of Moshe. But I was just listening in.
Go ahead, you can read the prayer.
Prayer of Moshe, the man Elohim. Psalm 90. Tehillim 90. Adonai, you have been a dwelling place unto us in all generations. For the mountains are brought forth. Area formed the earth and the world. And from everlasting to everlasting, you are Elohim. You turn man back to dust and said, return you sons of Adam. 1,000 years in your sight. About yesterday when it passed and watching at night. He carries on with as with a flood. In the morning, they're like grass which groweth up. In the morning, it bloometh and sprouteth fresh. In the evening, it's cut down and withered. We're consumed in your anger, and by your wrath are we hurried away. You have set our iniquity before you, our secret sins and the light of your countenance. All our days are passed away in your wrath. We bring our years to an end, as a tale is told, as a sound. The days of our years are 60 years and 10, or even by reason of strength 80 years. And yet is they pride but travail in vanity. But soon gonna by and we fly away. Who knoweth the power of your anger and your wrath according to fear is doing to you? So teach us to number our days. When you get us a heart of wisdom, turn, O Yahweh, how long? And let it repent you concerning your servants. Satisfy us in the morning with your mercy. We may exalt and rejoice all our days. Make us rejoice according to the days when you afflicted us. Here we ain't seen evil. Let your work be made known to your servants and your glory upon their children. And let the grace of Yahweh be upon us. And establish you also upon us the work of our hands. That's the work of our hands, establish you with it. Amen.
Go to say that.
He that dwells in the shelter of Yahweh abideth under the shadow should die. I said, Yahweh, who is my refuge and my fortress, Elohim, whom I trust. He'll deliver you from the snare of the fowler and from the noisome pestilence. He'll cover you with his pinion, and under his wings we take refuge. His truth is a shield and a buckler. You will not be afraid of the terror by night, nor the arrow that flies by day, or the pestilence that walketh in darkness, nor destruction that cometh at noonday. 1,000 may fall at your side, and 10,000 at your right hand. They'll not come near you. Only with your eyes will you look on and see the retribution of the wicked. You, O Yahweh, are my refuge. You made El Yon your dwelling place. There will no evil befall you. Neither will any plague come in your tent. They give his angels charge you and keep you in all your ways. They'll bear thee upon the hand unless you dash your foot against a stone. You tread upon the lion and adder, the young lion and serpent, and you trample under feet. Because it says, love upon me, therefore I deliver him. I set him on high because you know my name. And called upon me, I answer. I'll be with him in trouble. I'll rescue him and bring the honor. And with long life will I satisfy and let him see my salvation. All right, that means I spirit where I will be sure to. You know what I mean?
All right. May the Most High be praised from everlasting to everlasting, for he is our King. Are there any other questions or comments, family? And Nabi, did you want to say anything before we close it out?
Lord, that's it.
All right. Anyone else? Any other questions or comments? All right. Mr. Otter, was you coming on, Mr. Otter? You said you had something you wanted to talk about, Mr. Otter. You coming on? All right, great. May the Most High be praised. Ima, did you want an announcement or anything?
Oh. Hello.
Okay. All right. Korbasere. Well, thank you all for coming out. May the Most High be with you all. May the Most High bless you all. And may the Most High encourage you all to take on that challenge to be the very best that you can be. Shabbat Shalom Lakim. May the Most High be praised. Toda Rabbah. Lala Tov, family.